here. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. I'm on the road, so I don't know if this signal's going out or not going out or what. Like I said, I'm driving back home, got my work and stuff done. But my buddy, Emily Ann, shout out to Emily Ann, sent me a leak saying that Doug Peterson, you capping? You clapping? What's up, Mark?
There's nothing about him being fired.
You sure? Well, I'm Emily Ann.
I'm looking at all the top stories.
Okay, hold on.
About him being fired. There's rumors that he's going to be fired, but it's not that says
It's out from Bleacher Report. Okay, Bleacher Report. Emily Ann has been wrong. That okay, now I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Can you got Bleacher Report? Okay.
I looked up on
Look on Twitter. Okay.
And then in the last hour they haven't said nothing.
It came from Bleacher Report. Doug gone. Can you guys sit, brother? Can you see me, brother? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Emily Ann. Okay. If it's wrong, it's Emily Ann. It's on ESPN and Bleacher Report. Damn! You know what's kind of funny? You're fired! You're fired! Is last year, it was so funny because Philly 500, you know, Mr. I don't want Justin Jefferson because he's ass. He's ass. He said, well, the Eagles, we're automatically going to win the division because we have the same coaching staff. Washington's got a new staff. The Giants, a new coaching staff. And the Cowboys have a new coaching staff. And through the pandemic, we've got our own coaching staff. We're going to be better than everybody else, yada, yada, yada. And it looks like you're trash. You're trash. So what does this mean for Carson Wentz? You kind of want him to keep Dougie? Well, you know, they're starting all over. The bottom line is they're starting all over. So the question is, does the new guy who gets hired, first of all, who they gonna get? Does the new guy keep Carson Wentz? Because here's where I think the death knell for Doug Peterson was. Doug Peterson, earlier in the season, you had the owner walk out of a meeting in disgust, they said, you know, in a practice or something, and basically rolled his eyes. So there was already that dynamic. When Carson Wentz is coming out and you're hearing the rumors about him wanting to trade because they say, basically, I can't get along with Doug Peterson. So it was either Carson Wentz or it was Doug Peterson. So you look at this dynamic and say, well, Doug Peterson, you know, he might have already shot his wad and he's done. But we've already invested draft picks. You know, you saw them playing last night. Draft picks for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, they traded with the Cleveland Browns to get Carson Wentz. You really are stuck with Carson Wentz. You either take a $30 million cap hit or you try and fix the guy. So they'll be looking for somebody that'll say, yeah, I can do something with these two guys we have and try and mend the fences on there. Wow. Oh, it's real. You think I would lie? Crazy Corvette. This is the Joe Boo Sports Report from broke-ass media, man. Broke-ass. Hey, listen. I may not have the sound right. I don't have a makeup person or hair person. You know, I may have dirt on my clothes and stuff, but I don't lie. I don't lie. We tell the truth. We bring you the news as it is. Look, Michael's over here cracking. What's so funny? Doug Peterson getting fired?
I don't care about that.
Oh, you don't care?
I'm watching the Nickelodeon feed that they put on the NFL Network.
Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna start watching Nickelodeon football, man, because shit, that at least it's entertaining. Having SpongeBob up in there. Flores, any super chats that we get, we'll hook a brother up with in the drawing. Okay, I'll have to do it after because I'm driving right now and I can hardly read this. You're fired, Doug Peterson. Come to the owner's office and bring your playbook. Bring your playbook, okay? Bring your playbook. Now, it'll be interesting to see if everybody's out with the Eagles. Oh, man. Can somebody check on Philly 500? Wow. Can somebody check on Philly 500? Can you guys see me okay? Because I'm on the road in the mountains. You're not surprised? Doug Peterson out. He said, Doug Peterson, you're fired. Uh-oh. Mojo is gone. The mofo's gone. You know, I blame this on Philly 500 because Philly 500 was the one who wanted Jobu's head. He cursed himself. He cursed the Eagles. It's all his fault. From the what? It's all Philly 500's fault. Curse of Nick Foles. Oh man. You know, as bad as this season has been for the Cowboys, this does a brother good. This does a brother good to see the Eagles literally scraping the bottom of the barrel and having to do the walk of shame right now. I can't wait. You know what? I'm going to have to get Philly 500 on the channel this week. I'm going to see if I can set up something for tomorrow. I'm going to have to set something up. Philly 500. See, how is he supposed to be? You know what? There's the Eagle guy that has the hat with the wings. You know what I'm talking about? That super fan. We saw him at the draft. I actually got a picture of him with the wings and stuff on it. He ended up getting COVID last year, and I donated to the GoFundMe and everything else. And I was talking. I sent a message to Philly 500. I said, "Man, you know, one of your people." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, how are you supposed to be an Eagles YouTuber? And here it is, a Dallas Cowboy. There's Emily Ann. Hey, shout out to Emily Ann, because she's the one that notified me immediately. And Mike's like, I don't see nothing about it. Ace reporter Emily Ann is thebomb.com. She took care of her brother and let me know that Doug Peterson, you're fired. You're out of here. Okay, I shouldn't be happy about somebody being unemployed. I shouldn't be happy about something.
Why would you not want to be happy? The man made his money. He'll be good. He'll be good.
Yeah, he made his. You're right. He made his money. He made his money. That's for damn sure. Emily gets the notification. You know, I'm serious. You know, Michael's like, "Are you sure?" Because I was like, "Oh shit!" But let me check. It was like, "Mike, check before we go up there." But yeah, Doug Peterson. Sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na. Say goodbye. So I'm wondering how Eagle fans feel right now that the only coach and quarterback that they've had win a Super Bowl are out, that they're fired. How is that feel? Monty G, yeah. Actually, I got to find out how he's doing, because he was in really bad shape. Oh my God. Now, you know what would make me happy as could be is if they kept Howie Roseman, because Philly 500 can't stand Howie Roseman. So if they kept him, oh, I'd be happy. I'd be happy as could be. So yeah, I wonder who the head coach is going to be. Ooh, let me turn on.
Any indication of a problem? You know, is there any sense that the call in the field is incorrect? And there's certainly, I don't know if the angle's shown.
Okay.
Dude, like, we appreciate you hanging out with us, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, man, thank you, guys. You have a great day.
Thanks, Ryan.
Again, it's Spain and Fitz filling in at this point for the Max Kellerman Show. And the breaking news, Doug Peterson out as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Brian Clark joined us on the Goodyear Hotline. Goodyear, helping you discover the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven. All right, coming up next, we'll get a little bit of national championship preview with somebody that knows the Buckeyes incredibly well.
That's it? That's all they got? Doug Peterson out? Oh, man. So, the question is the Eagle job a premier job? Is this a premier job? You got Hurts, and you got Wentz. You got an aging roster. You're over the cap, and you got Eagle fans.
Product locator will check availability, lead you right to it. That's the Home Depot mobile app.
Eric Bieniemy. Oh, I would hate to see that. Eric Bieniemy to Philadelphia.
National championship preview done with Eddie George on the Max Kellerman Show.
That would be a great move.
We're back on Tuesday, recapping the college football playoff national championship.
Hell no, I don't. What? Who's talking? I know you're not talking about Doug Peterson, the Cowboys. Oh, hell no.
We'll discuss on Keyshawn J. Will and Zubin, 16:30 on ESPN Radio.
Philly may have COVID-19. Well, he did have a fever yesterday.
College football.
I hope he's okay.
You wake up early on Saturdays for. Even though
Anthony Lynn to Philly. I think Anthony Lynn got a raw deal. I'm sorry, Anthony Lynn. It's all over NFL Network. Well, I got NFL Radio, but I'm on the road. I can't watch
Other side of the player, I think it was Jenkins, if I'm not mistaken. What a chance.
Let's see. The turd has it.
For safety information. The all-new Fox Sports app is here. This is what it's all about, and it's changing the game. Unbelievable! Get all the
Well, at least there's drama in the NFC East. You know, at least we got something to talk about here with the season being over. Imagine Jason Garrett as the Eagles head coach. Maybe. That would be funny. Can you guys see me? It's signal clear. Stephen A. Smith should be head coach. Yeah, Philly, I forgot because he said, I watched his video and this morning, and he said a fever of 101, so I hope he's okay. Although he told me before he thought he already had COVID, in April. Yeah, I see you. We see you? Okay, cool. What if the Eagles got Bill O'Brien? Oh, great. I would love that. Chip Kelly back in Philly. Oh, boy. Oh, wow. I think Wentz will stay. Yeah, I think Wentz will stay, too. So, as they do the interviews, you have people that are going to have to be. Maybe they should get Dan Orlovsky. He loves Carson Wentz. Dan Orlovsky for head coach of the Eagles. You definitely need somebody. That's my next video. Philly 500. Your next coach should be Dan Orlovsky. You know, he's a quarterback. He's a former quarterback.
Don't put anything in it. Just good, straight like
Miss Anita Applebaum. How you doing, Miss Anita?
4 Pro Bowls. He knows Doug Peterson.
What if they get Freddie Kitchens? Oh, here we go.
When with the Andy Reid stuff? No, it was. Let's ask him. Let's get Michael Vick on joining us live. So, Michael, Doug Peterson fired. Where did you work with Doug Peterson?
In Philadelphia from 2009 to 2012. So I was with him for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time together. I know Doug personally, and I kind of know how he think a little bit.
Okay, so let me ask you. I didn't like pulling Jalen Hurts. I thought it was a big mistake. I think when you have a young quarterback, you're just trying to give them these moments where they can build confidence. It was a moment for Jalen Hurts to win a football game. I thought it was a great moment for Jalen, and I think Doug butchered it. That's my opinion. Do you think that led potentially to his firing?
Oh, no doubt. Without question, I think everything in the end down the stretch was sort of mismanaged by Doug, and it started, when he first put Jalen Hurts on the field. Was it a need to put Jalen out there? I don't know. Was it out of desperation? Who knows? But I just felt like a lot of things was mismanaged, and that was a game of significance for the Philadelphia Eagles. One, to get a look at Jalen Hurts, and two, to kind of close the season out in style, so to speak. But he pulled Jalen, and we was all excited about Jalen, and we talked him up, and we wanted to see him finish and play against a good football team, a decent football team, the Washington football team, and for him to do that, took the air out of the building. So, it's shocking that they fired Doug. He just, 4 years removed from the Super Bowl, but he accomplished some great things in Philadelphia.
By the way, I'm not going to tell you the comments that Mike and I talked before we went on the air. He actually golfed 2 days ago with Jeffrey Lurie, the Eagles owner. He didn't mention anything about firing a coach, right?
No, but he certainly picked my brain on some things, and it's fair to say he's a great listener. But we didn't talk about Doug at all. It was more about just coaching principles and things to look for, and I thought it was very intriguing. And myself and Larry, it had nothing to do with this.
We're both happy because I've said this before, is I think sometimes we bully in the media. We can all be kind of bad. And I think I was tired of hearing about how Lamar Jackson couldn't win if he was behind. And I'm like, timeout.
Right.
He's winning.
Okay, so Michael Vick saying he talked to to Lurie, but wasn't asked about the coaching and all that. And he worked under Doug Peterson for 4 years. But Doug Peterson is kind of arrogant, I think that's half of the problem, that he doesn't see a problem. And, it's kind of like, I know I'm the smartest guy in the room. And I think that Lurie finally said, you know what, you're an idiot. You screwed up Carson Wentz. We let go Nick Foles. We paid a boatload of money to Carson Wentz. And now you're screwing up Hurts. You thought it was a joke? It ain't no joke. No, that shit's real, man. That shit is real. Doug Peterson fired. But once I get off of here, I need to check. But you guys are right. I need to check on Philly because I know he was supposed to be live streaming yesterday, but he had said in his last video that he had 101 temperature and wasn't feeling good. So I need to check on him, make sure he's okay. Well, here's what you can say at least. At least their owner recognized that there's a problem. We held on to Jason Garrett year after year after year, and he didn't even win a Super Bowl. So from the standpoint of looking at the Eagles, they went down in the toilet, and the owner, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to give them one more chance, no, he's like, time to go. It's time to change this shit up. We're at rock bottom right now. We got to gut the roster. Let's bring in somebody else now while we're at the bottom, where they have nowhere to go but up right now. Wow. How y'all feeling about that? Doug Peterson has left the building. They're not going to bring Chip Kelly back. Chip Kelly was a disaster. Chip Kelly didn't deserve to get another job. They fired him on his off day. So I'm wondering how their players are feeling right now. Chip for president. Who knows? It'll be up to the new guy. So the coaching search is going to begin. I say Dan Orlovsky should be the coach because he's definitely all in on Carson Wentz. Chip Kelly time. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is almost too funny. Lincoln Riley going to make Jalen Hurts that man again in the NFL? Could be. They'll probably go get Jason Garrett. I think it's a good thing for you. See if there's anything else on it.
Especially when Devin Bush and Boyd Dupree went out.
ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern.
Here are your hosts, Bruce Murray and Brady Quinn.
Hi, we are back. It is the Blitz, and again, we'll get more into tomorrow, Brady, but we learned just minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago, before we introduced Dean Blandino, that Doug Peterson has been, in fact, fired as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, this comes after a meeting with their owner. I'm sure there were conversations about the direction and whether or not maybe Peterson wanted to be part of the situation with what's going on with Carson Wentz. But how about this? He takes over a football team in 2016 from Chip Kelly that was 7-9.
Yeah.
A year later, they're 13-3 and win the Super Bowl. They go to the playoffs the year after that. The playoffs the year after that are 9-7, 1-4-11 season. He's no longer the head coach in Philadelphia. How about that?
So not a popular opinion, but how that 7-9 team you referenced, how bad was that team really? I mean, remember, they were still in the hunt for the playoffs with like week 13 or 14 of that season when they ended up firing Chip towards the end of it. And let's not forget too, he won 20 games the 2 seasons preceding that. And went to the playoffs in one of those years. So this was a good roster. This was a good football team already. I think when Doug Peterson got there, obviously he helped them kind of continue on that path and journey to winning a Super Bowl. But how much of that had to do with the influence of what Howie Roseman and Chip Kelly had before, and him really doing that with? This has been a roster that has not been able to, meet expectations. Injuries have played a big factor the past couple of years. But I do kind of wonder that, much like you talk about in college football when you got recruiting classes, there was still a roster that was, fairly well maintained that Doug Peterson inherited, that he utilized to be able to work into a Super Bowl winning team. And he did it with two different quarterbacks, right? Obviously Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, and those two guys, and figuring out how to make it work in order to help those guys win. And so there's a lot to be said for that. He leaves with a winning record. He leaves with a Super Bowl win. They have been hamstrung because of injuries the past couple of seasons. But the regression of Wentz, the Week 17 decision that seems to have stirred the locker room, even though most of the guys who are upset about taking Jalen Hurts out were guys who weren't even in the football game. And so there's a lot of questions about like how this went downhill.
How this went
kind of
downhill
so fast. With Doug Peterson being ousted. It's just kind of odd. And I do wonder the ripple effects of this.
It's real.
If you look at, for example, two of the coaches that, there was still this past week rumors that they could be moved on from. It was Peterson and Matt Nagy, both former Andy Reid assistants. I wonder how that plays a factor, if any, on Eric Bieniemy. Like if you're Howie Roseman or Jeffrey Lurie in this case, you're looking at hiring a new head coach. Are you looking at Eric Bieniemy? Or are you going to be saying, well, I just had a disciple from Reid. I just had that. Am I just going to bring in a different guy? Like, I think that's the kind of interesting thing about some of those job openings. Like, a lot was made of the Houston Texans not necessarily interviewing Eric Bieniemy. Now it looks like they're going to be hiring Jim Caldwell. But if the Bears move on from Matt Nagy, like, are you hiring Eric Bieniemy there? Like, it almost gets kind of interesting with how, this all works out when you get coaches, multiple coaches who have come from the same coaching tree, and others on that staff still looking to move forward and take a job. In some ways it works for them, in some ways it works against them.
It's a good take.
No question about it. Listen, obviously that's the second part of the equation, but the first part is that Doug Peterson is no longer there, and the question is now, will he get looked at by some of these openings, of which there are 6? Something we'll talk about tomorrow at length, obviously, as we just learned of the news earlier today. Doug Peterson fired as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll step aside on that note, get back to Wild Card Weekend when we come back. Talk a little.
Let's see if ESPN has anything to say.
And that's what I kind of see out of this unit. Really, nobody expected Ohio State to do what they did to Clemson. They expected the close game. They didn't expect Ohio State to throw these guys out the way that they did and dominate the fact.
Philadelphia, just 3 years after winning the franchise's only Super Bowl, Peterson has reportedly been fired as the Eagles' head coach. In 5 seasons with the team, he had a record of 42, 37-1, and was 4-2 in the playoffs. So now there are 7 teams that need head coaches: the Chargers, the Eagles, the Falcons, the Jags, the Jets, the Lions, and the Texans.
Well, I think this changes things. I think the Chargers is still the best job. I think Philadelphia is now the second best job.
Well, what makes this very, I don't know, it's confusing, but there's a lot to process here. So
is Philly really the best next
You're moving off of your head coach in Doug Peterson. So are you sticking with Carson Wentz?
Well, that's what it feels like to me, is you get a coach that can get along with Carson Wentz.
So what do you do with Jalen Hurts?
Well, he's a backup, and
well, that's what that's going to be interesting. So does the Nick Foles, Doug Peterson statue stay in Philadelphia?
They won a Super Bowl. If nothing else, you have that to remember the Super Bowl that you won.
That didn't work out well for Carson Wentz having to go past. How about for the next coach? To me, I'm not sure that the Eagles is. Jeffrey Lurie is a much better owner than most. Jeffrey Lurie, I'd rather have him than Jerry Jones.
He's around the community.
Yeah. But you're looking at a roster that's aging and a roster that is well overpaid, because you're going to have to gut the roster, or you're going to have to redo a whole lot of contracts to get back down under the cap. And the bigger question is Howie Roseman also still there? Because Howie's a lot of the problems as well. So there's a lot of questions. I don't know that that's the premier job. If you think that you could do something with Carson Wentz, okay, yeah, then you got a franchise quarterback. And more than likely, they'll be looking for somebody who will say, yeah, I can fix Carson Wentz. That's going to be the key right there. Man. The NFC East is all track. But you know what the great thing about football is? People can turn it around in 1 year. 1 year, you can make all the difference in the world. And I think maybe by the end of the day, which will now be overshadowed, that the Cowboys will end up hiring Dan Quinn for the defensive coordinator. And I think we'll be getting rid of some more of our assistant coaches and bringing in some more guys. Boy, we're going to have an interesting night tonight. Huge mistake by the Eagles, in your opinion? See, I think the mistake was letting Frank Reich go. Frank Reich was who made Carson Wentz go and that offense go. From the time Frank Reich went and Doug Peterson thought he could be the offensive coordinator, that's when that team started going downhill. And, you can look at it and say, oh, well, they're in the playoffs, the next 2 years after being in the Super Bowl. You could see that they were deteriorating each year. So that's where we are with this thing. They got more.
Lost to the Browns last night.
Okay, they're talking about everything else. So, I need to check on Philly 500 because has anybody seen anything from Philly 500? Any notification? Because I've been on for about a half hour now, and if Philly 500 doesn't have it, then something he must be real sick. This is true. Doug Peterson has been fired. Doug Peterson has left the building. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Philly stinks, I'm dying. Hey, Brian, man. Sorry you didn't get the win. Hope you're enjoying your seat on the couch with the rest of us. Dan Quinn is not a good coach. Well, what do you want me to say? I don't know the team. What's my source for Doug Peterson? Bleacher Report, ESPN, Fox Sports, NFL Radio, Emily Ann. He's fired. Fired. Doug is gone. He is fired. He's been let go. He's been terminated. They took his pass card. They took his playbook. He is gone. Seriously. You heard it first here on the Joe Boo Sports Report. I was on it. I was on it. Well, my hopes as far as Dan Quinn goes is Dan Quinn is a better coordinator than he is a head coach. He at least coached a team to a Super Bowl with the Falcons. I know they lost, but, there's a lot of teams that lost to New England, okay? Let's be clear on that. Old news, Texas Eagle. Yeah, I've been on for 30 minutes. Nothing yet from Philly 500. Just checked. Oh, man. I hope he's okay because he had a high fever yesterday. Damn. How we next? Stay tuned. Yeah, that's the key. Is if you're going to clean house, you got to get rid of him as well. Garrett to Philly. Laugh out loud. Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to say, but Doug Peterson has left the building. Eagles stink, and they'll be starting all over. Booty rocking everywhere. Booty, 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 booty rocking everywhere. Doug Peterson is fired, y'all. Cowboys and Eagles have quarterback problems. Our problems can be fixed pretty easily. Sign Dak. Howie should have been fired. Well, that's true. Right now, it seems, okay, all the interviews that the Cowboys have done for defensive coordinator have been virtual reality, with the exception of George Edwards, who's on the staff. And Dan Quinn is now flying to Dallas for a second interview. So we know that Simmons from Carolina was a virtual reality interview, and Witt was also a virtual reality. But there's word that Witt might be a package deal with Dan Quinn and becomes secondary coach. Dan Quinn would be defensive coordinator. Who's talking about him being a head coach? Rumor is that Doug Peterson is front runner for LA job, Chargers job. How's Philly 500? Nobody's heard from Philly 500. GM is our problem. Well, all right, guys. I'm going to concentrate on the road and getting back home. Because I'm about to be hitting some bad areas, so I'm going to get a bad signal up in here. So I'll let some of the other YouTubers get caught up, and I'm going to check on Philly 500. All right? And don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. And hit the subscribe button, because you know we on top of stuff because of great fans like Emily Ann. Appreciate you. All right. And tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. We got a lot to talk about. All right? Peace.